Good morning, good morning. Thank you, sir. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 1 Million Cups Ann Arbor. Do me a favor, raise your hand if this is your first time joining us on this lovely Wednesday morning routine. Excellent. We got some new flyers. If you're a frequent flyer, raise your hands.
Back here.
There we go. All right. And then, yeah, we'll keep some extra seats open here. We'll keep some more seats open over there as people come or have to go early. I think we're going to do like a slide change. So we're going to go through our overview here. This is our agenda. I'm going to just kind of move past this one as well. So, yeah. Let us know your name and how you found out about us really quickly, like 15, 20 seconds for the four of us that raised our hands just now. So how do we find out about 1 Million Cups and who are we?
My name is Josh, live in Ann Arbor.
Excellent.
Sales and marketing leadership. Amanda told me about Million Cups.
Love it. Next. Okay. Yeah, go for it.
I heard about it a while ago. I'm just not really like a morning person, so it's been very difficult. But just recently, I had a kind of, my co-founder kind of put me on a schedule, so.
That sounds like a good reason. Thanks for joining. Sounds like a good co-founder. Sounds like a good incentive to get some coffee in the morning. Yeah. One more, two more. I think I saw two more hands. Yeah.
I'm Leah from Ann Arbor. I'm a technical product manager, and I heard it from someone who actually regular customer. I bumped into him at like potluck last week, so he told me about this event.
Love it. And then one more. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tucker. MFA, she invited me a long time ago. I have a family in Ann Arbor, and I work for a nonprofit, but I have a side hustle doing silent discos.
He's amazing.
All right. I can dig it. And then for some of our regulars, like one or two, what keeps you all coming back besides the coffee?
People.
I like it. One or two more. Who else? Somebody else.
Inspiration and motivation.
Dara.
Frequently, when the crowd is giving feedback to the presenter, the feedback is applicable to everyone's business, not just to the presenter.
I like that. That's a good mic drop. I don't want to drop this. Okay. And then we'll go into the mission of 1 Million Cups. I'm just going to briefly summarize it. So this is a nonprofit that is run by the Kaufman Foundation, and these are community-based chapters that are in a locality. So 1 Million Cups Ann Arbor is the first, most recent out of about 108 or 109 other communities across America. So every Wednesday from 8:30 to 10:30 a.m., communities meet here across America to discuss and workshop a business owner's problem. My favorite way to describe 1 Million Cups is removing barriers of access to resources, community, and connection. But also, imagine a TED Talk where you get to actually be vulnerable with people and ask for help in a way where you don't just get to say, hey, this is what I am, this is what I'm charging for, this is my cost for a customer. It's a more human-to-human connection as opposed to us just saying, hey, here's my product and here's my call to action. It's a lot more transparent and it's a lot more vulnerable too. So we talk about presentations over pitching and actually authentic connections. I have business cards, other people have business cards, but this isn't really one of those business cards kind of events. I'll ask for your business card in an event like this so I can put a name to a face sometimes, but this is run for the community, by the community. A lot of other events that come out of this ecosystem, not just 1 Million Cups, like Tarun and his marketing recharge, I like to think came out of this amazing environment because all these same people come to these same events. Ginger, who was one of the co-leads along with Arash, they really stick by the phrase of our community being radically and intentionally inclusive. And I think that as we continue to grow, we went from 1 dozen to now almost 4 dozen on average for every meeting on every Wednesday. It shows. I don't know how many cups of coffee that is. I think Monsieur has like
I did the math
Yeah.
a month ago. I can't remember. Do you remember?
a couple 100,000.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was like almost 250,000.
Yeah.
A quarter. We're getting there for only like less than a year. Yeah, it's not bad. Cool. So other communities, such as our sister community in Ferndale that helped us get set up, they'll do 2 presenters each time, but what we like to do is we like to hold space and workshop for the entire period on one person's problem or one kind of entity or idea. And the best part is, what can we as a community do to help you? Not just what can I, what can you, what can him or them, what can we all do to help you? And it used to be a stipulation of you had to be a business 5 years or younger, but I like to tell people, especially since the pandemic, you could be as old as however, but if you have a new offering or USP and you'd like to present it, or you have a new product or service, you can present it and workshop it here at 1 Million Cups. My favorite thing to tell people is, especially if they're a realtor or insurance agent with a national carrier, they're like, oh, there's no point, I'm disqualified from presenting because I have to be a local business. And I say, you're disqualified from presenting, but you're not disqualified from being a coffee sponsor. And so I'm just gonna say real quickly, we have an amazing team of organizers and other people here that have helped get us started as well, such as Darrow. Raise your hands if you've had some involvement in our organizing team, and give yourselves a round of applause. Almost all of us are here today. Sheldon actually had a workshop, but I'm representing Sheldon in spirit, so I am Sheldon today. So we're all technically here. Okay. On the subject of holding space for businesses and for people here, when we're talking about being vulnerable and opening up the parts of our business that we need help with and that we're definitely potentially struggling with, we want to be guided, feedback oriented, and we don't want to be harsh. Like if we wouldn't say it to our grandmother or to our young child, let's try not to phrase it so harshly for this person who's being vulnerable in front of all of us today, right? So as the organizers and as the audience and the MC, we will have a white card policy in case something is not on topic, or we just might necessarily need to do a room reset. We will raise a white card of some sort, or somebody in the back will of our organizing team, and we will use that as an opportunity to reground the room, whether that's topic-based, conduct-based, or otherwise based. Sometimes what we'll have happen is we'll make sure to ask clarifying questions about the business right in the beginning, and then we'll get into more nitty-gritty technical questions later on with the discussion. Cool. Who here currently works out of or utilizes Bamboo space? If you don't mind raising your hand, feel free to, yeah. All the way up so we can see it, and louder in the back, please. Yes, so Bamboo offers private desks, conference rooms, and offices. This is an amazing co-working space. They are our host. They've been our host since the inception. And what keeps us coming back is them, on top of the fact that there's amazing people here. There's so many people here right now. I see people at any given Wednesday walking into this, and I'm like, I know this person. They're up on the 2nd floor. They're on the 1st floor. I know this person. I bug them on other days of the week, not just on Wednesdays. And Bamboo is the place for this. Not just this Bamboo. There's like 4 other Bamboos. I don't know how they're multiplying right now. Yeah, there's a lot. They're expanding. So
Well, I mean, Bamboo is fast growing. So.
It takes a couple years though.
Yeah.
Fun fact, it does, but then it shoots right up, right? Cool. So, and then if you're here today because of 1 Million Cups, you actually do get a free co-working day pass, so you don't just have to be locked into a monthly lease or a long-term lease. You can actually work for day by day in a co-working setting that's amazing like this. But for today, if you mention your information to the desk, check in with Lexi or Alexa, they will be sure to say, hey, you're good to go for co-working for the day. And we have an amazing Mr. for our coffee sponsor. I didn't even know this. Tarun Gahani with Pure Visibility. The marketing recharge is something I love that he's done for the community. Take it away. Give it up.
Thank you, Prashad. Yeah, I'm Tarun Gahani. I think I've met a lot of you. I think we can jump to the next slide. Just like a couple quick questions. Well, first of all, last month I sponsored. You guys told me you wanted the fruit over the donuts, but I brought both just in case people are too shy about that. But I think it's a good mix. A quick question, like how many people use Google on a daily basis? How many people use ChatGPT on a daily basis? Multiple times a week? Or Perplexity? All right, so as we all know, things are shifting quite a bit, and it's like exponentially shifting. If you're wondering how to get your business to show up, or just wondering how to navigate, even if you don't own a business, you can chat with me. I have office hours once a month here. Scan the QR code or talk to me later. They fill up pretty quick, which I'd love to see a lot of you all signing up for that. So if you don't find a spot, I think it's booked out pretty far, but I'd be happy to like do a one-off. So if you have any interest in just chatting, bouncing some ideas around about SEO or AI search or anything along that lines, just find me, talk to me. Always happy to help and just kind of steer you in the right direction or confirm things you already know, perhaps. So there's info there. It's also on the Bamboo event website. And then the other thing I want to mention on the next slide, as Shirkar mentioned, and you see some flyers around, we have an event we do monthly here called Marketing Recharge. It's a free event. It's like a happy hour time. It's upstairs, rooftop in the training room, where each month we have a different marketing topic and a panel to chat about that topic. So this month, in a couple weeks, on the 26th, we have some really great panelists from some advertising and technology groups and organizations about nonprofits, or who help nonprofits, excuse me, the business case for doing good, so marketing purpose-driven brands. So if you're interested in that, come check it out. Again, it's free. It's Tuesday evening upstairs. We have some food and drink and good community networking as well. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Question.
We might have an answer.
All right. What happens if I use DuckDuckGo and Llama 2? Would you still be able to help?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, it's a little different, but some core fundamentals are similar.
Okay.
Yeah, you can check.
I used to skip some of my classes in college, and I'd go hang out with the cooler professors in their office hours. And so, I'm not saying that that's what you should do with Tarun with the time that he's giving you guys, but I would hang out with him at his office hours if he was a professor. And yeah, but to become a coffee sponsor, believe it or not, you're actually going to be able to speak here in Ann Arbor as a sponsor for coffee before being a speaker, because this is our calendar for coffee sponsorship. We've got 2 openings for September, and we'd love to have people fill them. And that is our contact form. Sheldon is not normally here, but he is also currently helping out with our coffee sponsorship. Next slide. And then these are actually some amazing local events that are happening in the area in the next week or so. Delve Collective, interesting. And then Thursdays, Darrow and Ginger actually amazingly came up with this. Where's the ability for us to hang out with each other after or outside of 1 Million Cups? And that's kind of where Think Tank Thursdays came up as a co-working day at an amazing co-working space with members of the 1MC community or other just members of the Bamboo ecosystem. And then of course New Tech Meetup, which is also now being hosted here. I think somebody here from New Tech Meetup maybe, or was. Local startups presenting. I think there's like 4 to 5 that present every night. So it's a great time monthly event. This is Melissa Wilson. She actually helps run our sister community out in Ferndale, but she is actually running a fast track program with her Pathway X group, which is another workshop, think like Goldman Sachs 10K businesses. And this is a Zoom hybrid program that we have the first one coming up, but then we also have other sessions as well. So I'll leave the QR code up for a couple seconds if people want to take a picture or scan it. This is an amazing workshop. This is another workshop that Kauffman offers through their national foundation. It's the Kauffman Fast Track, if you can see it on the left. But then we also have 1 Million Cups of Coffee. This is all volunteer-run stuff, by the way. I think the workshop is a little bit different in format, though, not volunteer. And then, like I said, we are a whole fiscal quarter out in terms of our speakers, so we are not booking until the beginning of November. So if you would like to speak, we would love to have you. I have a lot of familiar faces that I actually see here in the audience that are signed up to speak. I love to see it, and more people are on that list as well. But speak, coffee sponsorship, come sign up with 1 Million Cups. Yes?
What's Town Hall?
Town Hall is a forum where we can meet kind of like this, but instead of us just presenting and speaking more at you, we get to have a dialogue about how we can make things different or better for the overall 1MC Ann Arbor experience, not just for us, or for you guys, yeah. So it's an open forum, yeah. And then, like we said before, you don't have to be 5 years or younger because COVID as a time period has just been a time suck. but we want to be able to say, you know, franchises or MLMs, or let's say my favorite analogy to use is a national real estate or insurance carrier. If you can't do that, you can still be a coffee sponsor. But if you have a new offering, if you've been in business for 5 or 6 years, you can still present, as well as address the challenges that you have. With that, I would love to welcome Jennie Abbott, co-founder of Jounce, and give it up.
Okay, do you guys hear me well?
Yep.
So first, thank you for coming. I appreciate your time. Thank you, Michelle, for helping me. And thank you to my son over there for being here early and for being so honest. He's always been an honest kid. So thank you. So what is Jounce In? So Jounce In is a tech-enabled, HIPAA-compliant platform that connects families with children that have autism or have other developmental delays to verified therapists, tutors, and respite care professionals. This is nationwide, and it's for in-home therapy at the moment. We plan to launch in October, so this is the perfect time to come here, get your input, and get your feedback, so thank you. And so think of care.com. So you go in the app, on the website, you request a professional, a cleaner, a babysitter, whatever it is that you need, and you check their profiles, you get to reach out, and you pay, and boom, they're at your house. Same thing here. This is for kids that need therapy now. We cannot wait for a diagnosis. This is for, you don't need a diagnosis for this. To get a diagnosis, it's about a year, and other, depending where you are, what state you're in. It could be a lot shorter. For me, it was quicker because I had to advocate a lot for my kid. So it took us about four months, which is a lot still. 2 years? Yeah, it takes about a lot. In the UK, it's about 2 years as well. But I'm not hitting the global market yet, just working on US to start. But yeah, so kids need care now. Next. So this is my son when he was 2.5. And as I mentioned, I have an older boy over there. And so I kind of knew from the beginning that there was something off. And so we got him into assessments and lots of paperwork, and here we are. So we understand the transformative power of in-home therapy as it played a crucial role in my journey. So Sean Jackson, he was nonverbal. He's 10 now, and he's talking a lot thanks to speech and language therapy. And so yes, he was diagnosed with autism spectrum at 2.5, and then later on he got a narrowed diagnosis of level 1, which is Asperger. I'm not sure if you know about Asperger. And so he's a level 1 high function. So thank God, because levels 3 and 4 could be pretty challenging. And so, but he's doing great. Through art therapy, we kind of learned to communicate with him. So that's one of the therapies that I would like to have on board, music therapy, and you'll see a whole list. So yes, this is my boy. So next slide. All right, so here we are. So like I mentioned, there's no diagnosis needed. You just jump on the app, select your therapy that you need. So we're gonna start with these. Traditional therapy, however, a lot of the therapists, they kind of have their own style, different styles. These kids are so smart. So, and us parents, we know best. So yes, it's great to get a suggestion from the doctors and the nurse practitioners and all that stuff, but we cannot wait. We have to start them as soon as possible, as soon as we see the triggers and the issues. And so my son, he received behavior therapy, speech and language, occupational therapy, which was so good, and art therapy. But he only received art therapy with me at home. I didn't know that there was such thing, and now there is. Music therapy as well. And there's all sorts of other things. So tutoring was a big part. As you know, parents, we're working, come home, we gotta cook, and we gotta do this, homework. And so I had a tutor that would come once a week and kind of put it, his regimen, his plan together for the week. And that was very good because kids with autism and ADHD, they need to have kind of like a plan. together. And us parents, it's very hard to do that when you have other kids as well. And respite care. So respite care is where a certified professional comes into your home and relieves you. So we've seen it with patients that have cancer or bedsided patients and stuff like that. We don't see it too much with autism, but it's up and coming. So a lot of parents are being more aware. Insurances are covering this type of care, and so it's important. So me, I had a hard time getting someone to kind of relieve me. If it wasn't my mom or my husband, nobody else, or my sisters, nobody else. I would not hire a babysitter. I don't trust, because these kids are a little bit wild and they're just going on from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. And so respite care, you trust a little bit more. And so they will come, relieve you, you go to get a massage, go get your hair done. You can't take kids to do stuff like that. Or even grocery shopping. You don't hire a babysitter to go grocery shopping, right? Grocery shopping could be very challenging for kids because there's a lot of sensory. So it could be very overwhelming, and then the behavior starts, and then the embarrassments, because no one knows what's going on really, right? As you can see, my kid, he looks very like the typical child, right? So people don't know what's really going on. They just think you're a bad parent and don't know what you're doing. So respite care is very important for me to have this here. And other services to be included. So for instance, I have a dream. My dream would be to have a chess player come and teach my son how to play chess, or just play with him. So Aaron, he's a chess player, but I do not have time to sit down, and I love chess, but I do not have time to play chess. And these kids are very, very smart. I mean, my 10-year-old wants to reinvent math. He's like super smart, and I'm losing out on him playing chess because it's very important. And so it's not just chess, it's piano lessons. It's anything out there. And there's people, we all know somebody that can do this, right? We all know someone. So why not give this opportunity for this app for people to just jump in and be part of it, right? And so as far as professionals as well, professionals are really looking to outsource clients as well during their downtime. They are overwhelmed as far as like the clinics that they're in, because the demand is so high with therapy that they're just overwhelmed in the clinic. Sometimes, some of them are branching out and doing stuff on their own schedule and stuff like that. So it kind of goes both ways. It kind of helps everyone. Next slide. Oh, so sorry, go back. So over here, you can search their profiles, see their reviews and stars and all that stuff. So I'm trying to make it fun and user-friendly. So yes, next slide, sorry. So I kind of mentioned a little bit of the problems here, but again, long lead times, overwhelming paperwork. It's just, you have to advocate. There's no blood tests to show that the kids have autism or anything else. So it's overwhelming paperwork, disconnected care. You go and you drop off your kid at a center, and the next time you go, someone else is seeing him. Kids don't like that. They like to see the same person. They kind of, and stuff like that. Also, people leave their jobs, right? And you have a new therapist and stuff like that. It is known for children like my son that home therapy is the best. Life skills at home is very important for these kids. So dropping them off at a center is like dropping them off at school. They're going to do fine. They're busy. They're active. There's toys. There's this. But when you're home is where the challenge is. It's time to brush your teeth, and there's this and that. So having the therapist come into the home and figuring the whole dynamic of the family is very, very important and crucial for these 3-year-olds. Otherwise, they'll just run you over and take, limited access to trusted providers. Where do you go? Where do you find our therapy? Where do you go? I want this app to be the hub for parents to come in and they can select here and there and stuff like that, and find all these styles that are available. Hard to find respite care. Where do you go? Families need mental breaks. Tutors, like I mentioned. Dyslexia is very big. Again, the schools do not get involved when it comes to dyslexia. I'm not sure why. well, at least in Jersey and New York. I'm not so sure here in Michigan yet, but it's very hard to get a diagnosis for dyslexia. You gotta wait till the kids are a little bit older, you know, stuff like that. So again, this is where the tutor comes in a lot and helps, because my kid was doing the 5s the other way and stuff like that still. He still does it once in a while. But lots to, you know, and also the reading helps a lot. Next slide. All right, so the solution is Jounce. Simplified on-demand access to trusted care and support. So why now? So the service market is growing. As we are aware, we are more aware of autism. Autism has been around for a very long time, but we're more aware. We know what's going on more. People, families are reaching out for therapy more and getting these diagnoses from start. I would say back in the day, there was more denials as it is now, but there's still parents that are also in denial. They don't want to go through the paperwork. They don't want their child labeled in school with an IEP and all this stuff. They'd rather just like, okay, something's off. All right, let me hire someone that can just come right now and give me kind of like an assessment, right? So in 2006, I probably went way too far, but 1 in 110, and now it's 1 in 36. So you can see, and kids need care now. That's my kind of slogan that I came up with as I was doing this. So next slide. So how does it work? Okay, so families go in, they find therapists, tutors, respite care on the go, instant messaging. They can book the sessions on the app. They can pay on the app. For professionals, like I said, many professionals are branching out and they're trying to, you know, put their own practice together. So this is a hub for them as well to kind of reach out and get these clients in. And so when it comes to because I didn't want to talk about this too much, but in reference to pricing and all this stuff, so it's going to be free for heavy users, but there's certain things you cannot do, like messaging and stuff like that, so you would have to be a subscriber. So I just wanted to just bring that out. So, because one of the questions I'm going to ask later on for you guys is how much would you pay for something like this? Because that's one area I can use some help. Next slide. All right, so this is what we've completed so far. So we've completed the MVP design and the onboarding workflows. We are working with the booking right now. We're putting that together. We have a developer, just one developer working closely with this, putting this together. Building partnerships, we have a wait list. I did bring some business cards. There's a QR code. You can, you know, sign up now. Don't need to, but you know, if you want more information about when it's launching, that's the whole purpose. So we have a wait list, and then working with the legal framework of, you know, making sure that it's HIPAA compliant. This is from now. It would be more like private patients. You and I, you know big, you know, how would you say, Big Sam involved, or. But we're hoping that phase 2 would bring health insurance in as well, because I do think about many parents that won't be able to afford this and stuff like that. But I do believe parents would jump on board knowing that they have a wait list, they have, you know, and they know that the kids need help. So, so the go-to-market strategy, this is where I need your help with as well. So we're hoping, so one thing I didn't mention, or maybe I did, I am from New York, New Jersey area, and just recently moved out here in Michigan in March, and loving it so far. And so in October, there's an autism conference that's happening, and that's where I'm just like coming out and showcasing the app and trying to get people to sign up and stuff like that. So I'm starting with New York, New Jersey, and then eventually trickle back here to Michigan as well, and nationwide. This has the potential to go globally as well, but again, like I mentioned, we're keeping it here in the US first. Community outreach, like I mentioned, organic marketing, yes, of course, social media, webinars, all those things, but definitely I need, we're working more to get, you know, digital marketing, hopefully one day, to help as well. And working with families and providers, kind of like, who do you know, and, you know, help us out to grow and scale. Next slide. Oh, right, so this is how you guys can help here. So scaling access and awareness for families. So one of the things that I didn't put here was one, again, the subscription. So if you have any questions about that or any input, that would be great. Any feedback, that would be great. And share any expertise, mentorships in healthcare, technology, wherever you are in. One of the problems, not problems, but I'm just overthinking is how do I get everyone on board, right? Because you have the families and then you have the providers. I need to get the providers first, right? And then get the families. So it's like a timeline. So it's not, you know, kind of like, oh, I'm selling this and anyone could just buy. It's more like I have to time everything and kind of, so any help from there, any feedback would be amazing from you guys. And who do you know? I mean, there's lots of organizations out there. You know, if you know someone, let me know or connect or, you know, so it's very important. And again, your feedback, and thank you again so much. I really appreciate that you guys are here, not just for me, for every entrepreneurs out there as well. Thank you. I think there's one more slide. Yep, there you go. Thank you.
We'll leave that contact slide up. So I heard you say earlier if we could get parents to jump in. What if they jounced it? Is that a thing?
You got it.
I got it? Okay,
You got it.
So who's ready to jounce in, everybody?
Yeah, you got it. So kids, my kid is a jumper. I mean, if you do a little bit more research, all the kids, many of the kids have I was gonna say treadmills. Have oh my gosh, I can come up with yes, trampolines because they're jumpers, and so that's where this whole thing. But I couldn't use jump; it was taken. So something different, and the kangaroo, which the kangaroos are very smart and they jump a lot, right? Why not? So I just thought, you know, but yeah, thank you so much for noticing
Well,
that.
I hope I got it right. If I did that wrong, I would have to figure out how to apologize.
You did so good.
So
Your pouch was on the back, actually.
Yeah, the pouch.
The pouch is
The pouch. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of, we're going to do clarifying questions first. So we're going to ask kind of get the FAQ sort of questions out of the way, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. So who's got a nice technical?
Really, really quick, the QR code is expired, sadly.
Yes, it is. This one.
Yeah.
So I did change it, but it's okay. So
Okay.
on my card, that's why I also brought it. There's a QR card. That one's working.
Got you.
So this one, I don't know. I just got an email like yesterday about, oh, you have to pay this much and all this, and I'm like, oh, I'll just change it. No problem.
Fair enough.
Not that I don't want to pay, but it was like it's not. I mean, I had that QR code forever. I never paid for it. No. I know, it was like 29 something for a month for this one. But I've had that QR code forever. And I did want to say I do have a different logo in there with the kangaroo and the little kid in the middle with the glasses. So anyway, if you want to look at that little thing there.
Cool. So
Jenny, thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
sorry.
Thank you so much. This was a great presentation. I love the initial website that we're seeing and the interaction. And I am so excited because this is exactly what communities need, is the matching function of need versus care versus therapists that need to find additional work. So it all, the theory and the thought process behind it is amazing. One clarifying question, you're living here in Ann Arbor, trying to connect, why do you want to launch in New York?
So in New York is where I have most of the connections.
Okay.
And I kind of, different states have different laws in some things.
Okay.
So I am looking into every state, but I have pretty much New York. I mean, New York and New Jersey, like kind of down pat in a way where I kind of have people already just waiting for this to come up. And one of the most business that actually are really good out there is by word of mouth, right? Sure. And so that's where I know everyone. I know I'm a New Yorker, been there all my life in New Jersey, and so I have lots of friends, lots of connections that can help me kind of just push this out. But I'm hoping that I can, hit every state fast, hopefully. Because my thing is, when I'm outside and I see kids struggling and the parents, it's very dear to me. I'm very passionate about this. I'm on the autism forum for kids and families, and the things that I hear are just like devastating and stuff. So if I can bring a little, charm and help. But yeah, that's why New York is.
Okay. And second question,
Yes.
so I heard a lot about the benefits. I think it's pretty obvious that it's a need, and it's absolutely brilliant. What I am more concerned about is how are you protecting? What's the liability look like? How are you doing background checks on that back end in the system to ensure that you're keeping the recipient safe?
Right, that's a great question. So I've been looking at other sites like Urban Sitter, Babysitter.com, these things that are kind of related to what I'm doing, right? We have like Airbnb, maybe, it's just a marketplace, right? And so there's not that much of a background check. That's one thing, because I looked into background check and it's very expensive. But of course, child safety is very important. So this is where my app is really cool, because if you're a therapist, you have a license. If you have a license, you have a background check. You pretty much, you'll square it out, right? So that's perfect for me. I hopefully with phases, because right now I'm just trying to get this MVP out. I want it to be perfect, but I can't, right? It has to be out, but I'm hoping that I can propose background checks for families that want to pay additionally. I mean, I've seen it with babysitting apps where they can pay a background check and stuff like that. And I think that would be more for the tutors, right? Like if they're not teachers, like officially teachers, then, so that's a great question, and have it all kind of, but I'm still figuring it out. So yeah, and respite care as well, they're certified, so they should be good. But, yeah.
And then we'll
Yes.
make our way back to Rob.
Thank you.
So first of all, great presentation, a topic that anyone could easily identify with. Yeah, you don't need, just very self-explanatory. My question was an extension of the question which was asked earlier, right? You talked briefly about that you'll be working on compliance framework. So if you're building a marketplace like this, are you taking some expert help on figuring out the personal data protection both for families and as well as for the providers, or what are you doing?
Right, so great question. So I've had interviews with therapists and professionals, and to kind of see how they do it on private, because there's a lot of them that are doing it privately, right? And so they just need a HIPAA compliance form to be filled out and signed. So that's something that's going to be incorporated in the app where they fill out the form. I mean, we both fill out a form like that when we go see a doctor, and that's what's needed. There's not going to be too much of like, for instance, there'll be messaging, but not about their care as much, so that to avoid, stuff like that. So yeah, so that's what we're having. We're having HIPAA compliance forms that they need to be filled out as well. And then also once we have phase 2 or 3, hopefully, and we have insurance providers where we accepting insurance, then I'm working with Office Ally, which they will do all the credentialing, all the all the stuff that healthcare needs to be involved in, which is why I'm leaving into phase 2. I don't want to go to healthcare jail, but yeah, it's very important. So, but we're starting privately first with that HIPAA compliance form filled out. Yes.
I'm over here. We have him.
Yes, thank you.
So I had a couple of questions.
Sure.
So I'm going to smash them all into kind of one paragraph. The first thing is with the messaging that you guys were talking about. I know that a lot of platforms will all but force users to use the platform for messaging. Like you were mentioning Care.com. I know my wife has done that with dog signs and stuff like that. People won't talk to her unless they talk on the, or eBay won't talk to you unless you talk on the Airbnb. You have to do it on the platform, and that's a level of security, right? And you can penalize people for not using the platform. Might get kicked out if you do that. So that's one solution. The other thing is, I was wondering, are you thinking about plugging into local organizations or national organizations like the Learning Disabilities Association of America, or I know there's a lot of autism groups in Michigan, and so maybe taking the route of plugging in with education institutions that are serving this community, because it might be a segue to other resources. And the last thing is, you talked a lot about what you got nailed in. What are your biggest hurdles that you're facing?
I'm sorry, what was the last?
What are your biggest hurdles? Like, we see it looks great, right? It looks awesome. I've worked with this population a lot, so what's your biggest challenge that you're facing?
I would say not getting it out fast enough. Working with one developer, I would definitely say that. But my biggest challenge, like I mentioned, is how am I going to do this? How I'm going to launch? How I'm going to just get the providers in there so it could be attractive to families, right? That's my biggest challenge. And my other biggest challenge is, on a personal level, is I want to make it right for families. I don't want it to be a burden. I don't, like you mentioned. So for instance, you mentioned about how you have to kind of like subscribe, put in your credit card. You won't be charged now and stuff like that. So those are things that I'm looking very into it to make sure they will only put their credit card once they're ready to book and stuff like that. I don't want so much questioning and so much this and that, because it's hard, right, for us to kind of, and not even if you don't have a child with autism in therapy, it's hard to kind of jump in and put your own information in and stuff like that. So I would say that would be the answers. I also wanted to just come back to Vinny and also you, because you kind of touched this a little bit. So we're working with Stripe as the financial kind of distributor and helping everything, and they do facial recognition, so with their IDs. So everyone would be verified, making sure that they're verified. So that's another thing.
George in the front, yeah. Making its way back.
Jordan, okay.
First, I think that this is a very underserved community that you're helping, so applause for that.
Thank you.
I just have some random insight that may help you with the paid part as to how you'll actually get paid.
Yes.
So I think education is a big aspect you can lean in on.
Okay.
Making the service free is crucial, so it's not a burden, like you said, to the parents that need this. But there might be some people who don't know, or their kids are too young. Sorry. They might be at a point where they don't know what kind of help they need. You offer all these services on there, but they're like, I don't know which one's going to directly benefit my kid. You can offer, not like webinars or like courses, I guess.
Right.
But just, you can tap into the need of like, yes, my kid needs developmental help. I just don't know what kind. You can offer a paid service of some sort, I don't know how. Shedding light on specific things that they should be looking for before they can get diagnosed.
Right.
That might be a monetizable course of action you can take. And then a long-term progress tracker, like a premium subscription may offer, like, at one, he was dealing with this and overcame this. Just through the years, you can build a long-term clientele that's happily willing to pay for and keep clarity of the progress that they're making with your app. Basically.
I like that.
Those are
I
my
didn't
2
think
points.
about that. I didn't think about that. That's really great. So I have some answers of what you mentioned, and it's funny because Tyrone, I kind of touched this a little bit when we spoke. So assessments, right? So this is where the long wait and all this stuff, and So I was thinking about, hopefully, in other phases again, is have the opportunity for families to do kind of an assessment and bring AI in there. Kind of like, okay, what's are your main, points, what's going on, stuff like that. So that's what, I was talking to Tyrone about. So thank you for bringing that up. I can see that it's very important, for sure.
Let's make our way to who's got their hand up? Oh, yeah, go for it. Can I see that? Yeah, I think I didn't.
I'll just reiterate what other people said. I think this is awesome and so great that you're doing this. And I love the idea about education as well, and maybe it's a blog or something that just shares some guidance. One of the questions I had about your payment model or your revenue model, would you consider just taking a percent of the revenue that the providers make from their services. So instead of paying the users, I mean, in some ways it'll still flow through to the users, but instead of charging a subscription, it's more of what Airbnb, what Apple, Google do for their apps, taking a % of the fee for what providers book.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So to your point in reference to educators and resources, as well as Jordan's point, we'll have like a link to like resources. This is where it's very important for me to tie into which organization I choose, or hopefully kind of like give them kind of work together, where there could be like something in the app, a link or something where they can go into resources. But there's so many of them, and I kind of have to work, make sure that I align with their mission as well, because there's so many differences sometimes, right? In reference to the subscription, so there's four types of users. So user A and B, professional and family, they will have the option to have create a free account. But as you mentioned, they won't be able to message or stuff like that, or book. So the idea is, if I'm a mom, and I go in the app, and I have a free account, and I can browse through the providers, right? But I'm not allowed to book them straight in. So what I can do is I can post. I'm still working on this because I don't like the word job. I can post a request or something, like I have a child who needs this, that, and then the app will be able to return an email of about 3 matches, right? And then you can pick and choose. Because one of the most important thing about this as well, and where I started this whole thing, was empowerment. I want to be able to choose who comes to my home to see my child. And that's what it is, basically. So that's the free option. And then for subscribers, professionals, they get to pay. They get to keep 100% of what they make. And there will be a transactional fee for both. So yeah, Stripe will be able to do that as well, a transactional fee from the free user's account. So they can have the free options. But then subscription, they'll be able to do more and more and more with it as we scale and grow.
You said you don't do IPEs, but do you provide advocacy resources for parents who want one for their child?
So we do not provide any IEPs. That's with the school. So that's another big process that parents have to go through. So as far as the resources, we're looking into which organizations we want to kind of align with. As Jordan mentioned, it's good, and everyone here is like, look into the educators and stuff like that, so we can have resources. And also, it would be great to have parents have an option for assessment. And right now with AI, there's a lot of things that we can do, and instead of waiting for diagnosis, I would say. Yeah, because you really need that diagnosis to have the insurance pay. But if you have a child that's struggling, and there's a long wait for a year, and you're missing out on so much, you'll pay the $50 to see it. We pay $50 for John. You pay $50 to see a provider.
For the same person as opposed to a different person.
Or $40. There's a lot of apps out there that's like $40 for everyone, but it's only virtual. Virtual does not work for some kids.
So I just want to throw some thoughts out in terms of subscription structure and things like that. I just would suggest to not have a free tier, honestly. I know that it's not going to be popular with a lot of people, but I would suggest instead a free trial period. Because when it comes to your kids, like I've got a kid, you pay anything to help your kid when they need it. And I think that you could have different tiers of paid level. So after the maybe 20-day free trial or whatever, or 1 month free trial, honestly, you could pick any length of free trial, and then it's just going to kick in. People don't tend to cancel subscriptions, especially if it's something that they're getting anything out of at all, right? So I would say, even if you had like $2 a month, say for example, as a base level, because the point is someone's going to be able to search on there, they're going to get the information. They don't really have to use your app then to book.
Yeah.
So I would say no free tiers for anybody. I think you're gonna, a reasonable price level is okay for anybody, because the fact is you're gonna spend all your money on your kids no matter what, and you might as well feel like, hey, this is something my child needs and it's really helping them. They're gonna feel good about being on this platform. It's gonna help them so much, and you're gonna find that people will find this to be their favorite app to use because it just brings so much benefit to their whole family. So that's one of my main thoughts on the whole thing. So yeah, I would say no free tiers for anybody, but definitely free trial so they can see how useful it is.
Right, absolutely. And then my heart sinks out for when I see like forums where they're saying I can't afford it, and but I sincerely, that's the route I was going for at the very beginning.
Like get on like all of the internet. Tarun will probably tell you this too. All the internet eventually lands on Reddit for any kind of professional information. All the search engines, all the AIs.
Yeah.
If you watch what it does, it scans Reddit. Every AI search that's getting any real information, get onto Reddit and start getting that information about the app out on all the forums that are out there on any of these subjects, because people will just start to trickle on, then they'll start to talk about it. The honesty level that's on Reddit is pretty astonishing, and that's where all professionals eventually end up talking.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
We're going to work our way over. We're going to do...
Thank you so much.
Sure, Tarun, Candace, and then Armand had his hand up, so we're going to work our way in. We're going to work our way back. We're going to work our way back.
Have you ever considered being a nonprofit?
No. Good question. So I work for a nonprofit at Columbia University in New York for 25 years, so I'm all for nonprofit, absolutely. But I don't see how I can scale that. I don't see how I can do that with this type of, this is more like a marketplace type of business, I'm not sure. I would align with nonprofits organizations to kind of work together.
The mission is the goal. So scaling a mission-driven business or a platform, that's the alignment. But how you deliver it, it just happens to be a marketplace. But my consideration for both your thought process of being able to help families that can't afford it, that's where pass-through grants and all of those considerations, donations actually help become a benefit. But additionally, you have a much bigger advantage as far as grants and donations go and sponsorships. And it gives you, the other consideration was you have a very hard time keeping professionals on the platform where they would otherwise just book people normally outside of your platform. But having a nonprofit solidarity kind of gives them another reason to tie back to you versus just doing like a traditional Airbnb or anything like that. But I think there's an unlocking opportunity. I just don't know if you thought about that.
I haven't thought about that, but I see where you're coming from, absolutely. So I can look into it for sure. Yeah, thank you so much.
Just kind of building, I'm going to counter Darrow's point, though I agree with him. I think initially you might want to consider doing it completely free for the families. There was a point earlier about, you basically when you're launching, you need both families and professionals.
Yeah.
How do you get professionals to sign up? They need to see that you have a big user base so they can make money. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why they would join your platform, is to generate business. And to generate business, there need to be users.
Right.
To get the users, you need to give it away for free initially. And a lot of the, many popular apps started out free as users. They either sell advertisement or they change it to a paid version. So I would consider doing that initially, and then you get some momentum, you get some feedback, you make a V2, a V3, and you figure out, are people, should you take a cut from the professionals, and is that enough to pay the bills? Or do you at some point introduce a freemium model or a free trial? But somehow just to drum up that initial interest might be the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great feedback.
I was just going to say, if you had it and it was a paid subscription, even if you had a 1-year free trial, like for instance, a lot of the AI you know, like Perplexity, I've got a 1-year free trial
Yeah.
through a different service. That hooks me in. I found, I don't know, I can live without Perplexity anymore, right? So I can live without Google now, but I can't live without Perplexity.
Maybe that's it, it's the messaging, it's how you
Right.
phrase it.
But you get your professionals in there and don't charge them, and they will end up, you'll have a service fee. So it's like you get, you know, like something a little bit more ethical than what Ticketmaster does, but still in that vein.
Right.
So that way when you're booked, you get a flat service fee. Everybody sees it, it's transparent what the fee is then.
Right.
You know,
Versus a subscription.
versus a subscription for the professionals. That's what I think,
For the
yeah.
professionals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So no subscription for professionals.
Yeah, so we're kind of like,
I've
I don't
seen
know. Drew
that
and I are
too.
arguing back and forth
Yeah.
about it, we both agree on
That's the same
something
thing.
here,
I've
yeah.
seen
Because
that
I think
too.
the
No
professionals are
subscriptions
harder
for
to get.
Professionals,
Yeah.
So Candace, and then let me get everyone else's. I saw Armand. Did Susan, you have your hand up? Did anyone else in the back have their hand up? Yeah, we'll kind of go through rapid. Yep, and then in the back. So Candace, and we'll hand the microphone back.
Yes.
Hi, thanks. So, we're talking about subscriptions. I agree. If you're familiar with the Upwork structure, when you go on Upwork as a freelancer, you charge a certain amount and the client pays a certain amount for free. They don't have to pay, but you know that a certain percentage is going to Upwork. So I think that, I agree that would be a good idea.
Right.
I just agree that it should not be paid for the families, but if you need some sort of, if you have to have a payment plan, maybe the subscription would go toward the first service. So every month, if you pay whatever that amount is, if you get a service, then that goes toward it, so that
Like
it's
a cap.
right.
Right.
But I just want to direct you to this concept called product-led growth. It's a book, it's a concept that's all based on what we've been talking about. So I would check that out, and if you can't read a whole book, just grab it.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah.
We've got Armand with a lightning round, and then we're going to call it after those two. And we are out of time. Yep.
Sorry.
Good morning. As May mentioned, I want to say that I really support the mission that you're focusing on, and from the bottom of my heart, I hope you're successful. So I'm cheering for you. I have 2 questions. One is, what is the size of the community that you have around you, around this topic, right? As a mom of a kid who needs help, do you have like 10 or 100 or 1,000 people whom you talk to and they share their needs?
Right, so when I first had this idea, a couple of months in, I did a survey, and then I shut it down because it was very good, like great feedback. Like, oh my gosh, we need this. This is really good. So I shut it down only because I'm like, okay, wait, I have something here. Let me not talk about it as much anymore, because I really have to think about all these other little things, right? And kind of, so that here we are, where I come here to this community to get the feedback and kind of like just go. I have a community, autism is a huge community. I mean, it's just huge, it's massive. And especially now with the neurodiversity community that's out there and so aware. We all have some type of diagnosis. I think I have ADHD as well and stuff like that. So anyone that you talk to knows someone that is struggling.
Or how many of them are you in touch with them on a monthly basis?
So monthly basis, I would say, I mean, I have a lot of friends that we connected through. So the majority of people that I know is through the schools. So think about it. So he was 3 about when I started communicating and meeting people and all this stuff. And so as he's growing, I'm meeting more people. So like he was in a camp this summer, I met more moms. And I touched the subject, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is great. And what do? Wait list. I put him, so I have a huge list. I mean, I can, have for partnerships purposes, and also just moms and dads and tutors. I have a whole list of people. I mean, I can say probably like 200 people. That's right
perfect.
now.
So the reason I ask is that going down the route of the nonprofit, there may be a pilot or a trial period that you can go on your own and just have an email list that you send to these parents and to your network, and just socialize that, not just the idea, but you see a family say, I need this type of help, and you say, I know someone. So
Right.
manually do the matchmaking for a few months and get to like 1,000 customer base. Then this is how I would think about it. Then you get to a point that you say, I can't do this manually anymore. There's so many needs and there's so many providers and so many demand.
Right.
Then I need a developer, because you may go in this path of spending a lot of money and build a website and app, and then you don't get that much use case. The reason I ask is because one of my friends went down the path of providing mental health therapy during COVID, and they spent a lot of money, and then they realized there was something slightly off, very minor off, and they ended up closing their business.
Oh, wow.
So just to keep that in mind, that there's growing this customer base. If you become a national name that everyone knows you, and you have 10,000, a newsletter that goes out every week, and there's some new topic that people read about it, and there's webinars, and there's a nonprofit around this, then it can become a very natural segue into a business. Then you say, I charge $2 a month, so you get the services or like more professional care.
Right.
Just a thought.
Yeah, that's a great feedback. It's like, who do you know? It's like by word of mouth and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if you heard of CPAC or so I was in New Jersey, I was part of CPAC, which is a parent-based support group for parents that are, so we have these monthly meetings. It's here in Michigan as well. I just haven't signed up yet. I have a heart for volunteering, so I try to base myself in wherever I can and talk to people and pass on information and stuff like that. But that's great input as well. Absolutely.
Last but not least, Emma.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm so glad
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you.
I have examples of like apps that I think do this that I would love to share. Joy Plus is an app that pairs coaches with clients. The clients don't pay, the coaches pay to be on it, and they have 3 tiers. So you can pick which tier you want to go into as a coach. It's 100%, everything you make goes to you. They make their money based on the subscription. Someone interviews you through the process as a coach to confirm, so they have someone at different points. I think it's very simple, but to Armand's point, I asked the person how they got that many people, and they started and just really run it to get clarity on the type of coaches that they have, what that looks like to build a following, and that's how they're able to make it free for the clients because they have a volume. So I think it's like $67 a month for one of the tiers of the coach, and I make more than that with just one client session. You get to charge however you want to charge, but there might be differences because we're working with kids in this case, so maybe that's a little bit of like what you need to clarify. Another one is Lane 9. I know the founder, but it's a directory that matches women with to their period and food. But it's a directory that she took a lot of time. She's local here, I can introduce you to her. But she took time just to make sure that she started, and the directory is you can apply to join the directory as a dietitian, as a therapist, as specifically for that niche. And then she lists the people on the thing. So it's literally a directory, you go in, there's questions that you can ask to answer, and then it will help you figure out who you want to be matched with. I don't know what her pricing model is, so maybe that's a conversation to have. And the last one is Better Health, where you go in and pick your who you want to work with as a therapist, and that is insurance-based. So you can book with insurance, but everything gets booked on the back end, and then the client knows what they're paying, and then I think the therapists get paid on the other side, a percentage of it. So 3 different pricing models, I think, but just like 3 things to look at in terms of how you can scale, because I think volume is going to make a lot of difference for you in this, but happy to talk about it after this as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think this is off. Thank you. Great feedback, absolutely, from everyone. It is a challenge. What I've also thought about is that if you don't charge anything, right, and it's free, when the first connection, when they first come to the home, what happens? They exchange numbers, and then everything else is off the app. And this is why subscription, that's why I said, but it's good to know there's tiers out there, which I've seen. stuff. But again, this is where we are now, to come here and get your feedback, because there's a lot to think about, right? And again, like, I do have a soft heart and think about, you know, people that are not able to pay, but there's so many people that can. Like, there's so many, and when I see stuff and learn what other people are doing and how long they've been on business and how they started, like, this is all I see. I don't see Netflix. This is all I go in and I do research, and I'm like, wow, you know, Urban Sitter, the mom just started a babysitting app just from like, do you know someone that can babysit my kid? Because me knowing you, I trust you already. Like, I know you. I met you, last time? But I know you. So if you give me a referral of someone, I will take that referral for my child, right? And it's amazing what's out there. So thank you. It's great feedback. I'm excited.
Before we break to the photo, Jennie, what is one key takeaway, or what is one thing that we can do as a community for you? What's like the first thing that pops into your head that we could do for you? That jounces into your head.
Jounce in here. I think I would say your faces. I think just coming here and you being present is amazing. It really is. It's really important for me to get feedback, because I'm the type of person that I want to make sure that everyone's happy, you know, and that we're doing the right thing, the ethical thing, right? But we gotta make money too, right? So yeah, I think that was, you know, and I didn't put in the slides about the subscriptions because I knew it was gonna be a lot, but to be honest, that's where I need to help right now to kind of put that together. But definitely need help with, you know, who do you know, leadership, organizations, who do you know, and so we can launch this out and make this happen.
Give it up for Jounce and everybody.